As we've said in the Writing an Excellent Resume tutorial, the resume and cover letter are what get you an interview. The interview is what gets you the position. In this tutorial, we will go step by step in creating an excellent cover letter, one that will help you stand out from the crowd in a positive way that will give you a better chance at being considered a top candidate. As with our recommendations for resume writing, we want you to know where the advice in this video comes from. It's important to understand this so you can weigh the information here against the advice you will receive from others. First, the information in this tutorial comes from research called Current Best Practices for Cover Letters. This is a collection of details from recent research indicating what employers are looking for in a cover letter. Within best practices, though, there are several ways one could write an excellent cover letter. This tutorial has chosen one of the ways to recommend. So keep in mind that this is not the only correct way to write a cover letter, but if you choose to follow this advice, you'll know you will submit a cover letter that won't miss any important points and is more likely to be something an employer will be impressed by. Remember, it does matter who the individual is who will end up looking at your cover letter and resume. Since this is the person who will be making decisions about you as a candidate, whenever possible, you should follow the advice from that person, or even a trusted and knowledgeable source from within the organization you're applying to. That is not always possible, but when it is, it's the best advice you can get. An important detail to note, this advice is for cover letters within the United States. Other countries could have different expectations for excellent cover letters. Be sure to research cover letter best practices for the specific country if you're trying to get a position there. We will be giving you a lot of information during this tutorial, so if you are writing your cover letter while watching or listening today, we recommend you pause it after each section so you'll have all the time you need to apply this advice to your situation. At the end of this video, you'll find contact information for your Career Development Center. Feel free to ask for help at any time if you want or need it. First, the big picture advice. We always recommend you submit a cover letter when a resume or CV is requested. Yes, it takes extra time to write one, but if well done, it could be the deciding factor that gets you an interview over the other candidates. This means your efforts in submitting for the position are more likely to be worthwhile. If an employer only asks for a resume, we recommend you submit a cover letter as well. This will signal to them that you are willing to put in extra work to show an excellent work product. If an employer does ask for a resume and a cover letter, it is even more important that you submit both. In this scenario, candidates who do not follow all the instructions can be immediately removed from consideration for not following all the instructions. Best practices research has shown that the most professional-looking fonts are ones with serifs. New Times Roman, Cambria, and Book Antigua are each examples of this. Whichever font you choose, make sure that it comes through clearly when it is printed or saved as a PDF. There are cases where fonts can obscure a person's exact email address or phone number, preventing an employer from getting in contact with the candidate. This is surely one situation you want to avoid. And now, let's look at what to write in an excellent cover letter so that it stands out in a positive way. The sections will include header, greeting, introduction, body, closing, and signature. For the header, you have a couple of options. One is to use the same header as on your resume. Just cut and paste it to the top of your cover letter. Add the date on the next line, write justified. Then move on to the greeting on the next line, left justified. The other is to go with the traditional business letter format. In this format, you would put your name and contact info in the top left, the employer's name and contact info just below that, the date on the next line, right justified, and the greeting on the next line, left justified. Based on your research of the organization you're applying to, you'll want to choose the type of header that best fits that organization's culture. If the organization's culture is more conservative, go with the traditional business letter format. If it is more liberal, you can consider the resume header format. In the greeting, you want to be as familiar as possible while still maintaining a professional demeanor. The best recommendation is to find out and use the name of the person who will actually be reviewing your cover letter and resume. Many people go with "to whom it may concern," but there are various other greetings that are more familiar than that, even if you don't know the exact person's name. These can include "Dear Hiring Committee," "Dear Engineering Team," "Dear Creative Team Lead." Now, you aren't just going to make one of these up. You'll sometimes find these titles in the job description, where the job title of the person you'd report to is sometimes mentioned, and or the company's website, where you could find the terminology that the company uses for its employees and or teams. On to your first paragraph. Start off by stating what you're applying for. For example, please accept this letter and resume to represent my interest in blank job with the job number at blank name of company. Be specific. Name the job title and the job number, if there is one, exactly as the company has listed it on their hiring documents. This will help them keep your candidacy organized and prevent you from getting lost in their system, especially since the person who first sees and keeps track of your documents at an organization could be someone who is not even connected to the job itself, like an HR representative. Help them be able to look back in their records and search for you in the future. This capability can sometimes lead to you being offered an interview or a job months after the position you originally applied for closes. Then what do you say? The mistake that some people make next is to make a generic statement like, "I believe the combination of my skills and experience would make me a great employee at your company." Recruiters and hiring managers do not like to see this because it says to them you're just sending them a cover letter that you sent to dozens of other companies and haven't really considered why it is you'd like to work with them. So take a few minutes and do the research on the job description, the organization's web pages, and via conversations you've had with people who work there or know what it's like to work there. Choose one or two things about the company that make you enthusiastic for the possibility of joining their team. Another mistake people make in this paragraph is to say things like, "I'd really love to work for blank company because it will help me improve my skills and further my career goals." Well, that's great, and it may be true, but it's much less impressive for a potential employer to read about what the job is going to do for you. To really make a positive first impression, compliment them in a genuine way on their product, organizational structure, industry and sector, or mission and philosophy, and talk about how you would want to be a part of that. Here's an example of a well-written first paragraph for a cover letter. The next paragraph or two will be the body of your cover letter. Take care not to make this space a long narrative about your educational background and work experience. Craft these sentences into a customized description of how your specific background is a good fit for their specific position. Use your knowledge of the job description and information on the organization's webpage to accomplish this. Customize your resume and cover letter to the position you are applying to. Yes, this may sound daunting, but think of it this way. Spending the time on fewer customized resumes and cover letters will actually get you many more responses from interested employers than sending out one version to everyone. In fact, sending out one version to every place you apply to might even get you no responses. So here's a shortcut to make customization less labor-intensive. It's likely that you're looking for a particular type of job, say an entry-level mechanical engineering position in the aerospace industry, or a chemistry internship in forensics. Find as many job descriptions as you can that pertain to the category of opportunity you're interested in and compare them. It's likely that they have many requirements and desired skills in common. Write your cover letter based on what they have in common. Then, when you're getting ready to submit for an opportunity, you can scan the specific job description and the organization's website for any particulars you'd like to add to your already mostly customized cover letter. Creating a customized resume has a similar shortcut. See the tutorial on writing an excellent resume to learn more. Most of the hard work of writing an excellent cover letter is now done. Now, on to the closing and signature. In the closing, you want to sound confident and positive. Statements like, "Please get back to me," make a candidate sound a little desperate. A statement like, "I will prove that I am an excellent candidate," make one sound a little too confident. Something more along the lines of, "I look forward to chatting with you about my candidacy," is much more balanced. This is positive and forward-looking without being presumptuous or overconfident. Of course, there are many ways to phrase this sentiment. Write it in the words that you feel comfortable with. Then, you can have your phrasing checked by your career facilitator or one of the other people who will be looking at your cover letter. Finally, if you wish to restate your contact information, you may do so here as well. For example, "I am enthusiastic about this opportunity and look forward to discussing it with you. I can be reached at blank phone number and/or blank email." Finally, there are many ways to sign off at the end of a cover letter. You'll want to choose a sign-off that is professional. In most cases, "sincerely" is the best choice. "Truly" could be okay, but when combined into "truly yours," it starts to sound more like a love letter than a cover letter. So make sure you keep it professional. More creative versions of each of these sections mentioned above are allowable, of course, but take care to be confident that the person reading will connect with your version in a positive way before committing to writing like that. One way to do this is going to be through your research into the organization and its culture. More traditional organizations will be looking for something that mostly looks like what we've recommended above. Newer technology companies, design firms, startups, and more progressive organizations will be more receptive to a more creative approach. These types of creative additions can definitely help you stand out from the crowd. Just make sure you're using them with the right crowd. Remember to save your cover letter and resume as a PDF. This will ensure that all your hard work in making these documents look professional will show up the same to the person considering you as a candidate, whether on a computer screen or in print. A great format to use when naming the PDF is your name underscore position title and number underscore date.pdf. The position title and number are those generated by the organization you're applying to. The date can be written as month and year. This will help the employer keep track of you in their system and looks much more professional than document1.pdf, mycoverletter.pdf, or even Joe Smith cover letter 1.pdf. When you are finished drafting your cover letter, we recommend you get it reviewed by at least 3 people before submitting it to any organization. At least one of these people should know about current best practices for cover letters. The others don't have to know anything about cover letters, but they should be knowledgeable enough to help with grammar, spelling, and finding inconsistencies in formatting, like paragraphs that don't line up or font choices that obscure information. These are so important to an excellent cover letter that even a single grammar, spelling, or formatting mistake can eliminate you from the candidate pool. Don't let all your hard work go to waste. Do everything you can to eliminate any errors from your cover letter. As always, contact your NAU Career Center for assistance on any career-related questions you might have, including resume and cover letter reviews, LinkedIn help, and mock interviews. Here is some contact information for you to reach out. Career development can be reached by emailing career@nau.edu for an appointment or for the team's current walk-in hours. If you're a College of Engineering, Forestry, and Natural Sciences major, you can email me, Elizabeth Glass, at elizabeth.glass@nau.edu with your question and your weekly availability, as well as if you need to speak with someone in person. We wish you the best of luck in your career path.